Hey, what's up guys? I'm Hot for TFBTV. If you ever played Counter-Strike, you may have found yourself wanting an HK UMP 45. But if you spend a little time on the internet, you probably found out you can't exactly get those here. Dig a little deeper and you may have found out about the HK USC, which is a semi-automatic civilian legal version of the UMP. But those aren't exactly easy to come by, and they're also pretty expensive. Luckily, for under $500, you can get yourself one of these bad boys. This is a Taurus CT9 Carbine. It is pretty much a Brazilian UMP. Let's take a look at it. The CT9 is the import-legal version of the Taurus MT9 submachine gun, which sees service with military and police agencies in Brazil. They have a reputation on the internet for going runaway full auto at inopportune times, but before you ask, no, my CT9 has never done that, unfortunately. Or fortunately, if you happen to work for the BATF. Mechanically, the CT9 is a straight blowback 9mm. Without a fancy blowback delay system or a fun switch, you might ask what the point of the CT9 is. I'm not sure what the point of any pistol caliber carbine is, not even the good ones like the Ruger PC carbine or the great ones like the Beretta CX4. The Taurus CT9 is enormous. It's bigger, bulkier, and heavier than a 16-inch barreled AR-15. And because it's a straight blowback, that weight doesn't do much to tame the jumpy recoil from the huge recoiling mass of the bolt. It's softer shooting than a CX4. I mean, it better be. The CT9 is about 25% heavier than the CX4. But it still pushes you around a bit. I'm 6'4", 200 pounds, and you can probably see this thing pushes me back like an AK. In order to make an import-legal version of the MT9, Taurus had to do more than just drop the full auto position on the selector switch. The CT9 has a 16-inch non-threaded barrel, a fixed thumbhole stock, and shipped with 10-round magazines. The CT9 mags are one of the main downsides to the gun. Taurus hasn't made the CT9 in years, but the factory 10-rounders are actually still available, but they are pretty expensive. They're also fragile. I bought my CT9 new old stock several years ago, and when I got it, the plastic tab that locks the base plate onto the magazine shattered in both of my mags before I bought it. The gun was unfired, so the mags broke in shipping in a padded hard case. They still work after I shook all the plastic fragments out of them. The mags aren't even supposed to be 10 rounds. They're actually 15 rounders with stamped sides to limit capacity. As far as I know, unblocked 15 rounders were never sold in the US. If you want real mags, you can modify Uzi mags or Colt 9mm SMG mags. You have to add a cut in the spine of the mag and chop down the feed lips. It's a hack job and it's really not worth the effort, trust me. There's a random guy on Gunbroker who takes plastic Colt or Uzi mags and adds a mag catch on the back, cuts down the feed lips, and I think he replaces the follower with a 3D printed one. With modified mags, you have to be careful not to over-insert them, and inserting them in the first place requires some effort. They are pretty much reliable, but too finicky to be a real option. If you have a CT9 and you're desperate for a 32-round fun stick, knock yourself out. But don't use this as an excuse to justify the purchase of a CT9. Let's try this homebrew magazine. This is a Pro Mag Uzi mag, I believe, that's been shaved down and cut and had the follower replaced with a 3D printed one. Tight fit. It's 20 rounds. Shockingly, it works. The CT9 does have a few nice handling and convenience features. The selector switch is ambidextrous, and so is the paddle mag release. The bolt handle can be swapped from left to the right side and is non-reciprocating. There is also an ambidextrous bolt release button that works just like the one on an AR. The sights are made of plastic, and both the front and rear can be repositioned on the full-length top rail or removed entirely. The front is a hooded post, the rear can be flipped between an aperture for long range or a U-notch for close range. Out of the box, the CT9 has ample accessory rail space on the top and bottom, and it has attachment points for side rails. But it doesn't come with the side rails, and I have never seen them for sale online. The CX4, by comparison, has a top rail, includes one optional side rail in the box, and also has this weird little extendable tongue on the front for mounting a forward weapon light or laser. It's clever, but it's ugly. I think I've referenced the CX4 so many times in PCC reviews that you don't need me to actually review it, by the way, so you can stop asking. Shooting the CT9 is interesting. It's absurdly large and has a ludicrous length of pull. I'm 6'4" with a wingspan to match, and it still feels awkward to reach all the way out to the end of the handguard on this thing. That might be why they put that big ergonomic grip zone on the front of the magwell. The CT9 is also heavy. It weighs 7.5 pounds empty versus about 5.5 pounds for a CX4 Storm, with the same barrel length. The only thing I really don't like about the CX4 is the trigger. It's mushy and heavy, and it flexes before it breaks. By comparison, the CT9 has an excellent trigger. Ultimately, it doesn't matter too much. I can still shoot better groups with the CX4 because the sights aren't as coarse. Put a red dot on either gun, and the difference pretty much goes away. The CX4 trigger feels like crap, but it still works just fine. The CT9 has been flawlessly reliable in my experience with the factory 10-round mags, and as long as you seat the Bubba Hack Job extended mags properly, it's reliable with those too. That shouldn't be a surprise since it's straight blowback. Pretty hard to fuck that up. I've had the CT9 for years and forced a bunch of people to shoot it. It's unwieldy, but still surprisingly popular at the range. The CT9 is like a Malaise-era GM land yacht. It's built for comfort, not for speed. It has precisely zero practical application, but that doesn't mean it couldn't put a smile on your face. I wouldn't recommend you buy even a good pistol caliber carbine, so I can't think of much reason to recommend the CT9, except that it kinda looks like an HK UMP. From a distance, at night, if you have glaucoma. You can usually find CT9s for well under $500, and that's way cheaper than buying a Civi Market HK USC and spending the money required to turn it into a passable clone of a real UMP. And honestly, aside from magazine availability, it's the same damn gun. A blowback 9mm is a blowback 9mm. My worldview does not distinguish between an HK USC and a high-point carbine. Thanks for watching. TFBTV is supported by Ventura Munitions and Top Gun Supply. They keep us strong even when YouTube won't return our calls. We are also supported by our incredible patrons on Patreon and Subscribestar. Links to both of those are in the video description. See you next time.